All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Project Kubernetes Best Practices meeting on the 6th of May, 2024. This meeting is covered by the CNCF Code of Conduct, which is basically just to be nice to each other, be welcoming, be inclusive. And you can read the link if you to the Code of Conduct if you are interested in learning more. And I'll just in the chat share a link to the meeting notes. So I'm the host today. My name is Jakob Valdemar. I'm one of the two project leads, co-leads. So Martha is not here today, but normally she's also in these meetings. So I think we'll start by doing a round and welcoming every one of the new members or attendees. It's nice to see so many new faces in this call. I think actually all of you three, it's the first time I see you, so welcome all. And if you want, you can introduce yourself.
Okay, I can go first. So hey everyone, I am Adil Zalouk. I am a product manager working currently for Red Hat, but I'm also the AI working group, the CN AI working group co-lead. So we're working a lot and in figuring out what problems to be solving. And I found this the title and the group here interesting. So I'd like to explore potential ways we could maybe collaborate.
Awesome, thank you.
Hi, I can introduce myself. I am Kyriakos Kyriatis. I'm coming from Germany, from Hamburg. I am leading the architecture center for public cloud in the German, the Netherlands, and the Switzerland market from Deutsche Telekom, that is called Open Telecom Cloud. I'm interested very much in researching directions about CO2 reduction footprint in general in public cloud infrastructure and especially in Kubernetes. We have some work projects that we're working internally in the company, and personally I have written a tool that it regulates the sleep cycles of Kubernetes workloads like HPA, jobs, cron jobs, deployments, etc. That is called Sleep Cycles, and I'm working as well for another product that it's heuristically and probabilistically calculates the metrics of the workloads in Kubernetes and combines it with carbon intensity in order to attain a spatial or a temporal distribution of the workloads in Kubernetes clusters and in multi-regional Kubernetes clusters, which is still in progress. And I would like very much, after I found your group, to be involved and, of course, to learn more stuff in this direction, because it's a very brand new topic with very big importance, I think, and in technical and in societal aspects of how we responsibly are using technology nowadays. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you for joining. So you are a researcher?
The question is for me?
Yeah.
No, as I said, I'm working in a private company that builds a public cloud in Europe that is called Open Telecom Cloud, and it's a cloud of the biggest German telecoms company, Deutsche Telekom.
Okay, thank you. Graziano, if
Hi all.
yeah.
I'm Graziano Casto, I'm from Italy, and I'm a developer relation engineer in Mia Platform. We are a company who build an internal developer platform, and we are maintainers of one of many open source project, which is Kubergreen. And this is my very first CNCF contribution, so I hope to start contributing with them and continue in the future.
Awesome. Thank you for the introductions. Maybe I should elaborate a bit more on myself then. So I am from Denmark. I work in a company called Luna, which is a Nordic fintech. So a bank for Denmark and Sweden and Norway. I have been a project lead for this project, but I'm also like contributing to the tag in general, the environmental sustainability tag. I recently just finished my master's in computer engineering from Aarhus University, where I wrote my master's thesis on carbon efficient cluster autoscaling in Kubernetes. Right. So if you would like, you can add yourself to the attendees list. It helps kind of keep track of how many are attending, so we can kind of show to the tag that we actually are not just Marta and I, but we have a lot of other cool contributors to the project.
Can you send the link, please, for this document?
Yeah, sure.
So,
I'll just send it. There you go. And I'll just add myself. Great.
Okay, sorry, I didn't see it.
Yeah. So the next bullet in our recurring topics is to take a look on the status of our work in progress sections. So that's basically the sections for the working document which we have. So this is the working document. I'll just share a link, so you have it if you don't already. But basically, that's the document we want to expand on, and then like when we feel like we have enough and something like that, we can start putting it into Git to get it maybe into the environmental sustainability website, or create our own website, or maybe convert it into a white paper. But just a quick check-in on the status of our tasks. So kind of the way we work is that in these meetings, if you have an idea for something that should be included in the document, we can talk about it, and then we maybe write it down on the idea scratchpad. And if you feel like you want to contribute with it, then we create a GitHub issue for it. So and put it in the project, so we can kind of keep track on the work that we are doing. So these issues are ideas that at least one person has committed to working with. So in progress, we don't have anything done yet, but in progress we have 2 items. So I think I want to highlight this one. The repeat dual workloads needs to run constantly, because we actually have had our first contribution in this issue, which is awesome. So it's awesome. Thank you very much to Graciano. Is that said correctly? Yeah, good. So thank you very much for your contribution. It's actually the first one we have yet. So yeah, so just excited to see that we have something now, and we can get some more. So I don't know if the task is done. I guess we take that asynchronously in the task and comment to catch up whether or not the task is done, if there's more that needs to be done, and review from the other contributors. I guess this is the task that Marta is currently doing, which seems that there's not any progress yet, but she's probably doing something offline, maybe. We don't know. This is the project tracking task. So if you haven't read it, then you probably would like to read it. So this task describes the whole project. So what the goal, the scope, impact, and some of the deliverables in the project is. So kind of giving a context to what we are all doing and the common goal that we are trying to reach. Yeah. So, and some of these three are still in the backlog, so I guess no work has been done on those yet. All right. So next topic on the agenda is ideas for new sections. So do any of you have some ideas for something that we should consider or like this add to the recommendation list, something that you don't see here but you think is important and think we should discuss or work on?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe I can add an idea, which is there's a lot going on with artificial intelligence and cloud native, and I think one of the biggest problems that not many people are looking at the moment, but are actually quite being exacerbated by AI is carbon footprint and sustainability in general. So studying the impact of whatever cloud native AI stacks that we produce and recommend, and having a sort of a recommendation for how to make it sustainable, how to make it less costly on the environment, would be something that I think we know there's a lot of room for collaboration here. It could be a write-up, it could be, start with a write-up, it could be in the form of a tool, depending on how we want to do it. I think a write-up would be a first good step, but yeah, that's something that potentially we could, I would look to collaborate on.
Yeah, that's a good point. Very valid. I think you're right that there's a lot going on with AI and especially in the cloud native community. So kind of it's maybe not that mature yet, but we would probably want in the long run to make sure that we have some sort of recommendation on how to kind of ensure that the cloud native AI is being ran in a sustainable way. And that could be recommending tools. It could be saying that you like pinpointing relevant facts that one should consider when doing it, or saying, well, you should consider using a GPU of this sort. That, of course, requires some analysis and research, but I think it's a fairly valid point. So I'll just write down.
It doesn't have
And
to
of
be
course,
a tool, right? It doesn't have to be a tool. It could simply be as we navigate the new landscape for AI, what to keep in mind and what are existing tools out there to help with AI. So I guess it's probably generalizing on whatever you're working on, but making it also applicable to, or especially applicable to, AI workloads. It's LLMs, RAGs, whatever.
yeah.
I think that would be yeah.
In the context of this project, I also think it's important that we focus on the AI in the context of Kubernetes, and because extending the scope to basically all AI deployments
No,
is
that
too
makes
large.
sense.
Yeah.
We're doing the same. We're doing the same. So, for example, I'll give you an idea.
Yeah.
Kubeflow, right? Kubeflow is one of the main tools that is being used for the machine learning life cycle. So, as part of this machine learning life cycle, what's the carbon footprint contribution, right? For Kubeflow, that would be one example, that we could give. So I'm happy to give more ideas and collaborate on this and bring something up in the AI community.
Do you already know now that you might want to contribute with this recommendation or something? Because then I can just create an issue after the meeting and assign you as a contributor.
Yeah, so I'm happy to help, but I wouldn't be I would help because I'm working on many things in parallel, so I would definitely help. Whoever wants to start from this, so because this working group is the domain expert, I would say in that field, and I think someone from that group aligned with me or someone from the AI working group could work together, and I could be the person to liaise. At least, but I wouldn't be the primary contributor, right? I would be like a co-contributor.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Got it. Any other ideas?
I don't know if it makes sense or if it's in the radar of this group, or if you have already rejected it. I see only the temporal shifting through KEDA. I don't know if someone is interested in investigating about spatial shifting between multi-region Kubernetes clusters or with federated Kubernetes clusters with different tools. I have read a little bit the goals of this, let's say, task or objective, that it's not about creating a new tool or researching something. So I'm not really sure if that as an activity fits this group, because it requires researching a lot of tools or alternatives how to accomplish that. And I'm not really sure if it fits, but in the general picture, it makes sense, along with some predictive analytics or patterns of usage, in order to have a more predictive scheduling in the Kubernetes environment that could be combined, let's say, in some extent, with some AI models. Just spitballing. I don't know if they are really fit here.
Yeah. So what? First of all, spatial shifting is obviously relevant in this context, I would say, or somewhat relevant at least. What we currently have on the table is this action item to describe the importance of data center location / physical infrastructure decisions. So that is kind of the idea, was that we maybe assume, I don't know if it's correct, but we assume that most people just run in one place, run most of the infrastructure at one place, or at various locations, but at least they are statically selected and not dynamically shifted. So this action item kind of taps into figuring, kind of giving some tools to figure out what is a good location to place your data center in, or what region from the cloud provider would you select. Spatial shifting, like automatically shifting the workload from one region to another, could also be relevant. I don't know if I do not want to focus much on spatial shifting of Kubernetes workloads. We recognize, yeah. I guess that's basically what I just said. Yeah, but still, like pinpointing some tools which can be used for this is relevant. I don't think Carpenter, for example, supports multi-region clusters yet, but if that one day would support it, you could automatically shift from one region to another nodes that you use in your cluster.
Which one did you mention acoustically? I didn't get it. Which doesn't support the
Carpenter.
workloads?
Carpenter.
Carpenter. Okay. Yeah.
Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just acoustically, I didn't catch the word.
Yep. That's fine. Yeah. So did that answer your question or concern?
Yep.
Good. So any other ideas? It's good. No, that's also very fine. We got one new idea, and it's definitely not a requirement that we get new ideas in every meeting, but it's just nice to catch up if someone has had any new thoughts or like consider anything new since the last meeting.
So
Great.
maybe I should ask.
Yeah.
I see here so auto scaling and right sizing, and then workload right sizing, and then so does this all fall onto scheduling, or is this like what's the I feel like there's a common theme across all like for scheduling, I mean, right? So is this like building something in, or trying to build something in Kubernetes to schedule workload more responsibly when it comes to carbon footprint, or what's the idea? Maybe if you can just
Yeah, sure. So it's definitely not in scope to build anything new of the project. We won't be building anything new. But what we will do is to highlight existing tools and existing methods that can be used to reduce or improve the environmental sustainability of Kubernetes clusters. Basically, collecting a best practices recommendation of kind of the, you'd say, established or mature ways to improve sustainability. So yeah, you say that there are some themes here. Yeah, so it's not all constrained to scheduling. It's more like basically the context is Kubernetes. So cluster auto-scaling / right sizing. You could argue that is scheduling, but it's not scheduling workloads. It's more about figuring out what type of instance types and machines to buy or use in your cluster when considering environmental sustainability. Yeah, so these two should be fairly different, but there might be some overlapping down here. Yeah. Does that make sense and answer your question?
I'm thinking, but I'm a bit too. I'm probably. I need to do some research on the existing issues and see and read more about them. So
it's good. Just ask if there's anything. I don't mind repeating what's in some doc that you may or may not find.
yeah, I'm better trying.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to understand. First of all, I think I got so the scope of the group is to highlight best practices and doesn't not build. So this was new information for me, which was helpful.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. So let's say there's something that to be built, right? Who would build it? Is there another working group that focuses on or would that go into like what are the cube sigs then to decide and to build something? How do we communicate the outcomes and the knowledge gained from the research and the best practices we write to the SIGs? Is there a channel already for that?
No, there aren't. But it's a good point. I haven't considered that. Like one of the outputs could be like that we recognize that there are some areas which need something. So I don't think we have considered that until now. But basically, on who will build it, the answer is nobody, because we will just focusing on collecting existing knowledge and what's possible now. And this should, of course, over time be updated, and hopefully there will be more and more tools for this, and new standards will emerge. But as right now, no one will really build it.
Okay, because we also have, so there's doesn't necessarily be, yeah, well, it's focused on Kubernetes, but Kepler, for example, is where the building mostly happened, at least from where I come, where we encode the knowledge of whatever research into actions and metrics and whatnot. I think maybe Kepler would be another, not just, because Kepler would probably have a way to enact changes. So I think that would be helpful also to partner with the Kepler folks somehow.
Yeah, good point. I'll just write it down.
Yeah, and I could help also here from, so one of the co-leads of the AI working group happens to also be a Kepler maintainer, and so
Does that encapsulate what you said?
yeah, I think so the project could be information about areas where we see an absence of tools. Yeah, it does highlight the gist of it, right? Which is, there will be outputs and knowledge and byproducts. And yeah, if we ever get to like, okay, now we have, I'm just trying to be proactive in the sense of like, okay, the two approaches, right? You could figure out what needs to be done and then go do it and reach out to the folks. But also, I think the other way is more on the proactive side, which is like, let's maybe get folks who have vested interest in this knowledge and maybe have the knowledge already, so that maybe helps deduplicate stuff, and get them to also help contribute in this area. Just giving some ideas.
Yeah, good point. Or more like recruit.
More well, yeah, they will not need recruiting if they're already solving the problem. They have been already recruited by themselves.
No, okay. So not thinking like recruit people that have built the tools to write about the recommendation, the problem.
Well, so you have people who built the tools. Like, let's talk about a specific use case. You have Kepler. What does Kepler do? Kepler solves a problem. What problems does Kepler solve? Probably, carbon footprint, how to measure it, how to give metrics for auto-scaling clusters based on carbon footprint, and so on and so forth. So there's probably a lot of solved problems that and answers to maybe questions that you might come up or have come up with before. And so what you'll gain is first, you research will highlight which areas have been solved before, and if that's the case, then you don't have to. So that there's already a group taking action. If there are areas that have not been solved, you know who to contact best, because these folks are solving the problem. And then what we do also is so yeah, in the AI space, and what I'm also trying to help with is so once we highlight the problem, where does it go? There's now Kubernetes working groups spinning off to solve particular problems, like serving, like scheduling, like dynamic resource allocation, and so on and so forth. And so this is again another venue. But I guess you captured more, yeah. Exactly, and we collaborate with other working groups and projects, say.
Yep. Thank you. Any other input?
I'm curious, how did this group start?
How did it start? I'm trying to think. So Max, the co-chair for the environmental sustainability tag, wrote an issue on GitHub on here in this tag, describing something about creating a like a recommendation for best practices for environmental sustainable Kubernetes clusters. And I guess then Marta commented on the issue, saying that she would like to be part of that project. And then I think there was something in Slack, and then I saw it, and I just did my thesis, so I wanted to be part of it as well. And then we thought, yeah, okay, let's start this and see where it goes, and we can be co-lead it together, kind of to distribute the work and the responsibility. So yeah, we started it. Just yeah.
Yeah, I'm asking because, like, I think going back, you know, it started probably to solve. So going back to the point now we were talking about, it's probably started to solve a gap or a problem you've seen. So I was interested in that gap that you've seen in the community that prompted you to start. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the open discussion, I have put in 2 bullets. So the first one is also just to make sure we congratulate and celebrate that we have made our first text contribution to the working document, which is so awesome. Yeah, and the next one was about this this issue where I had talked with Thomas Spangborn, which had said that he might want to join this meeting. So I thought that we could talk about how to distribute the work in this task in the meeting, but he hasn't joined, so I guess we don't. That's not relevant anymore. Anything parked for later? So we previously talked about publishing the recommendation as a CNCF white paper or a report, just like the for example the AI white paper. So kind of in that style maybe, but we didn't like reach any decision or conclusion. So I maybe want to hear if few folks have any input about regarding this. Do you think it would be nice as a white paper? Would it add anything, or just, yeah? Any thoughts?
So I'll give you an idea about what a white paper usually entails. So usually the white paper is more grand. It covers a lot of topics on a high level. So your goal is usually not just technical people, but also people coming from, you know, decision makers, execs, and so on. So you're explaining a concept to them. You're highlighting issues, challenges in different areas. You're highlighting potential approaches to solve a particular one or more problems, usually more problems, right? You know, and yeah, and so it's usually the scope is very big for the white paper. It's high level. It's not that technical. At least some start like this. There are others that focus on, let's say, scheduling or right sizing, and that is very tricky to decide whether it's a white paper or just technical write-up. But I think it might be a white paper if it's big enough to cover. So, but the gist is, like, white papers are usually large enough to cover a big problem. Yeah, so that is just some thoughts.
Yeah, with the reason we were considering white paper was also kind of like it might be a different kind of exposure. Like if you it's a different thing saying, okay, I found this, I don't know, recommendation on a website, and or maybe saying to someone, oh, there's this new white paper about it. Maybe we should do something in this area. So it would kind of maybe be towards a different kind of customers.
Yeah, it makes me think as well, like because you've mentioned you're not so your contributions are mostly knowledge. I think it makes sense to produce knowledge content, right? One of the knowledge content is a white paper, right? There are blog posts, there are technical guides. Do you have like so what we have with Tag Runtimes, we have our own website and we produce content over there, you know, blogs, white papers, guides. And so, you know, the categorization, I would say, is not that hard. It's actually a bit loose, but depends on the problem you're solving, right? If it's big enough, I think it would fit as a white paper. And, you know, because your group's goal is knowledge mostly, I think it would make sense to produce knowledge artifacts. And white papers are one of the knowledge artifacts that is known to be produced by the CNCF. It could be also white papers in other areas, like if you're solving a problem for scheduling, could be, you know, let's see, working group scheduling, and then see where does it fit in their content production to include your. So you'd have to decide whether you need a net new contribution, or you would contribute to an existing standing entity that is solving for scheduling, for example, but you want to add part of your problem, which is carbon footprint contribution or sustainability. So yeah.
Good points. Thank you. That yeah, I don't think we will. Yeah, we'll still wait with any decision, but I guess the more knowledge and more we talk about this, the more we get kind of get a feeling of if we want to do it or not. So is there anything that you want to talk about which is not on the agenda? No? Well, if not, then I think the meeting is adjourned. So thank you for joining the meeting. It's a pleasure to get new faces and new people in this meeting. I hope to see you